Good afternoon, Year 2, and welcome back to your online home learning. I'm here to join you this afternoon for some science learning, so I'll share my screen and we can get going. Okay, here we are. So just a couple of questions to think about from our learning in science last week. We were learning to investigate the sugar content in a variety of drinks. So 2 questions to think about. Why should we think before we drink? And should we never have these types of drinks? Okay, so it's important to think before we drink because, as we found out last week, a lot of these drinks that maybe we didn't realise have a lot more sugar than we thought. So it's really important that we make sure we're not having these drinks too often, but we're of course still making sure we have these drinks sometimes, okay, as a special treat. Okay, so it's absolutely okay for us to drink these drinks, just making sure we don't have them too regularly. Okay, so our learning for today then, we're learning to understand how germs spread. So we're thinking about germs as our final part of living a healthy lifestyle. So just a few questions to think about. What is a germ, first of all? How do germs link to being healthy? What does spreading germs mean? And why don't we want to spread germs? Just pause the video here and just have a chat to somebody in your household about each of these questions. Okay, so first of all, a germ is a tiny organism that can cause disease in a plant or an animal. If germs enter the body, they can make us feel poorly. Spreading germs means when germs move easily from one person to another, and this can happen when an infected person coughs or sneezes, and we want to try not to spread germs because they can make us feel unwell. Okay, so why should we cover our mouth and our nose when we sneeze? Why do you think that's important? What would happen if we didn't cover our mouth and our nose when we sneeze? Okay, so it's important to do that because viruses are spread when we sneeze and don't cover our mouth and our nose. Okay, so it's important that we trap that sneeze in our hands or in a tissue to make sure those viruses or those germs aren't spread to other people. So a little bit of an interesting fact for you here. How far and how fast do you think a sneeze can travel? Okay, just have a little guess of how far and fast you think a sneeze can travel. Okay, so this might surprise you. A sneeze can travel up to 100 miles an hour, spreading germs up to 2 to 3 meters away. Okay, so that's quite an interesting fact there. Okay, so thinking about if we're sneezing or if we're coughing, what happens next after we have sneezed into our hands? If we didn't manage to catch it with the tissue, what happens next after we've sneezed into our hands? Is that enough to stop the spreading of germs? So is it enough just to catch it in our hands and that's be it? Okay, so it's important that ideally we want to try and catch our sneeze or our cough in a tissue. And you may have heard of the phrase, catch it, bin it, kill it. Okay, so we catch the sneeze, we put the tissue in the bin, and then we kill it by washing our hands. However, if we were not able to catch our sneeze or our cough in a tissue, it's important that we wash our hands so that we are killing those germs. Okay, and we need to make sure that we wash our hands with water and with soap. Okay, so we've just got a little bit of a science investigation, which I thought you might quite enjoy. So the items that you will need for this investigation are hand cream, if you have it, glitter and newspaper. However, if you don't have glitter, then you can replace the hand cream and glitter with paint or with something else that will stay on your hands unless you wash it off with soap and water. Okay, So I'm going to tell you what I want you to do using hand cream and glitter. But please don't worry if you don't have these things, you can use whatever you do have in your house. So the first step is I want you to put a drop of hand cream on your hands and rub them together to spread it out evenly. With your hands over the newspaper, ask a parent to put a pinch of glitter in the palm of one of your hands. With your hands still over the newspaper, make a fist with the hand that has glitter on and then spread your fingers out. I want you to just pause there and think about what do you see. You may want to take a photograph of your hand to reflect on what you see. What has happened to the glitter? Where has it gone? Is it still there? Has it disappeared? Now, once you've done that, I want you to press the palms of your hands together. You might need to rub them in a little bit and then pull them apart. Now, what do you notice? Has the glitter spread? Has it just stayed on one hand? Has it completely disappeared? And then, once you've done that, using one of your hands, I want you to touch a parent's hand or touch somebody in your family's hand, maybe a brother or a sister. Have a look at their hand. Do you see anything on it? Okay, has the glitter spread onto their hand as well? Once you've done that, I'd like you to get a paper towel or a tissue and just try to wipe your hands clean of all the glitter. Is it working? Is all the glitter coming off just with a tissue? Okay, and then finally, after using the paper towel, try using soap and water to wash your hands. And this time, did the glitter come off? Okay, so the whole idea of this investigation is the hand cream is so that the glitter sticks to your hands and the glitter acts as the germs. Okay, so it's a really visual way of seeing what it would look like if we were to sneeze into our hands, seeing those germs, because as we know, the germs are invisible, we can't see them. Okay, but if we use glitter, then that's just like what it would look like. Okay, then it shows what would happen if we were to hold our hands together and again hold another person's hand, spreading those germs. Just the same if we were to go and touch the table, go and touch a screen, the glitter or the germs would spread across lots of things until we wash our hands with soap and water to get rid of those germs. So it's a really nice visual way of us seeing how those germs can spread across quite a large area. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed that science investigation. I'm going to talk you through the activity I'd like you to have a little go at now. So I'd like you to create a poster, an informative poster, to share your knowledge of how germs spread. So you may want to include the interesting facts we learned about how far and fast a sneeze can travel. You may want to use the phrase catch it, bin it, kill it. You may want to make sure that you write about washing your hands being very important, making sure that you either cover your cough and sneeze in your hands and wash your hands or catch it in a tissue. Just make sure you're including all of those things we've learned today about germs, about spreading germs, and about making sure we are being as careful as we can not to spread those germs as much as possible. Make your poster as colourful as possible. Make sure it's got lots and lots of information on and some really interesting pictures as well. Here are just a few examples on the screen here. So we can see a poster here, germs are all around you. You can see the green dots are representing all of those germs. We can see all of the germs that have spread all over all the items. Stay healthy, wash your hands. And then this one here, don't spread your germs, wash your hands. Stop the spread of germs, catch it, bin it, kill it. And then stop germs in their tracks. Coughing and sneezing, cover your nose and mouth with a tissue. To stop germs from spreading, throw away, use tissues. Hand washing, wash your hands frequently, which means often, with warm water and soap, or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Okay, so that is what I'd like you to have a go at doing now, creating a poster to share your knowledge of how germs spread. Now, please make sure you come back and join me after you have completed your poster, because we've got a little bit of a quiz to end our science lesson together. You may want to pause the video here and go and complete your poster. And then once you've completed it, you can press play again and you can join in with me completing the quiz. Okay, the quiz, there are 5 or 6 questions which we'll go through in a moment. Okay, enjoy completing your poster and I'll see you a little bit later. Okay, hopefully you've managed to complete your poster now and hopefully you're ready to go through the quiz with me. Okay, so question 1. Now this is a bit of an end of unit quiz, so there's going to be questions on all of the topics we've learned about during this half term. So question 1, I want you to write down 4 ways that you can keep fit. Make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil handy, so you can just write down each of your answers to these questions. Okay, so write down 4 ways that you can keep fit. We'll go through each of the questions and then we'll come back and look at the answers at the end. Okay, pause video here if you haven't quite had a chance to finish that question yet. I'm going to move on. Question 2, I want you to draw 3 healthy foods in this lunchbox. Don't worry about drawing a lunchbox, just draw me 3 foods you could put in a lunchbox to make a nice healthy lunchbox. Make sure they're not all fruits. Make sure you have a range from those different food groups that we learned about. Okay, pause video here if we haven't quite had a chance to do that yet. I'm going to move on. Question 3, put a circle around the food that has the most sugar in it. So what I'd like you to do is just write the item you think has the most sugar. So is it apple, cake, bread, egg or carrot? So just write down the 1 food out of those 5 choices that you think has the most sugar in. Okay, we're going to move on to the next question. Question 4, put a tick next to the correct sentences. Now, I'm not asking you to write out these sentences. I just want you to write down A, B, C, or D. There may just be 1 sentence you think is correct. There may be more than 1 sentence. If there's more than 1, just write, for example, A and B. Okay, so I'm just going to read each of them out to you, and then you can decide which ones you think are correct. So A, after I sneeze, I should wipe my hands on my jumper. B, when I sneeze, I should use a tissue. C, after I sneeze, I should wash my hands. And D, I do not have to do anything when I sneeze. Okay, so there may be more than 1 correct answer there. So just have a really good look and write down the letter or letters of the sentences you think are correct. Question 5. Sam was going to eat a bar of chocolate. He wants to swap it for a healthier food. What could he choose? Put a circle around the foods that would be a healthy swap. So again, you can either draw the item that you think would be a healthier swap or write the name of them. Now it says foods, so there's more than 1 food that would be a good healthy swap. So write down the foods that you think would be a healthy swap, either drawing them or writing them. Okay, so that is the end of your quiz. We're just going to go back to question 1 so that we can go through the answers. You might want to pick up a different coloured pencil so that you can go through and mark your answers. So question 1, write down 4 ways that you can keep fit. So you may have different ideas to what I have, okay, but for number 1, I've put regular exercise. Number 2, eating a balanced diet. Number 3, drinking lots of water. Number 4, getting enough sleep. So make sure you've got a range of things there of ways to keep fit. Okay. Question 2. Draw 3 healthy foods in this lunchbox. So I've drawn some wholemeal bread. I've drawn a banana and some cucumber. thinking about this now, it probably would have been better for me to choose a banana, for example, and then maybe a little bit of chicken to put in my sandwich. So that I have a bit of protein, a bit of carbohydrates, and a piece of fruit there as well. Okay, I'm sure as long as you have items from a range of food groups, that would be brilliant. Okay, question 3, put a circle around the food that has the most sugar in it. So hopefully the answer that you wrote down was cake. Cake is the one out of all of those that has the most sugar in it. Put a tick next to the correct sentences. So after I sneeze, I should wipe my hands on my jumper. When I sneeze, I should use a tissue. After I sneeze, I should wash my hands. I do not have to do anything when I sneeze. So hopefully you wrote down the letters B and C are the 2 correct sentences. And lastly, question 5. Sam was going to eat a bar of chocolate. He wants to swap it for a healthier food. What could he choose? Put a circle around the foods that would be a healthy swap. They've got crisps, apple, ice cream, strawberries, and cream cake. The foods that hopefully you wrote down were apple and strawberries. The apple and strawberries. Whether you drew the apple and the strawberries or whether you wrote down the name. Okay, a huge well done to all of you Year 2 for joining in with your science learning today. I hope you enjoyed learning all about germs and completing our end of unit quiz. Now I hope you have a really, really wonderful weekend and also a really amazing half term as well. This is our last afternoon before your half term holiday. So I hope you are really able to take some time to go off and do all of the things that you love to do and to really take some time to look after yourself. So bye for now, Year 2.